You have been into army, you've got your bachelor in IT, and you have been working tremendously and tirelessly in the energy space. You also
Yes.
work with government as well. What is your motivation?
Well, I do have an IT background, and I worked in a very large IT shop for Marathon Oil Company for 26 years prior to doing research on kinetic energy. I worked in almost a think tank environment at Marathon Oil Company. Actually, at one time, I had 57 programmers and analysts working underneath me on a project, and we developed some very high-tech projects. By the way, I also believe in what Gideon had to say, keep it simple, stupid. That's a good word for KISS. And
Yes,
I've
yes.
used that logic my entire career and working on this new energy invention. Uh, my goal was once I retired from Marathon, I know we're going to run out of oil. And most people don't understand that, but we're going to run out of oil. And BP predicts 47 years. So what do we do when we run out of oil? How do we power this world? We cannot power this world by consuming resources. So it has to be some form of alternative energy. By the way, if we run out of oil and then we find a new energy invention that we can power the planet, mankind cannot survive. People don't understand 30% of the oil consumed in the United States is to make products. And without plastics and tires and asphalt, we could not maintain a modern society. And without a modern society, mankind could not survive today with 7 billion people projected to be 10 billion people by the year 2050. So when I retired at 50, I knew this. So we decided we're going to look for what type of
Mhm.
alternative energy we're going to try to research. We knew wind and solar were intermittent. Intermittent energy you cannot count on. We'll never be able to power this planet by the weather. That's exactly what wind and solar represent. So we started looking around, and a few types of energy sources that are available is nuclear, but that causes a huge amount of nuclear waste. Then we looked at
Right.
geothermal, but there isn't that many locations around the planet that we can exploit geothermal. We looked at river flow, and not dams, but river flow. And we said, hey, that's 24/7 energy. It's the most dense form of energy. So in other words,
Mhm.
you can capture it, because I hear a lot of talk about if we could capture all the sun rays. Well, we can't. So that's like ridiculous comments. It's like saying if we could capture gravity, we could power the planet. It's ridiculous. So we start looking at river flow. And so for the next 12 years, I researched river flow with
Mhm.
25 old retired engineers. The oldest today is 94. Now they say wisdom, age and wisdom, we'll see. The youngest would be 78 right now. So we researched river flow, and we failed for 12 years. I funded the whole thing. We continued building
Mhm.
prototypes, putting them in rivers, wearing out waders. And finally, after 12 years, we discovered a different way, which does not use turbines to extract energy from river flow. We have the capability to extract all the energy from all the river flow. Today, you cannot do that. Uh, Straight river flow, what happens is the ebb factor gets in the way. And I'll try to explain real quick what the ebb factor is. If you stand in a river, the force is strong at first, but it goes away right away. And why does it go away? It's because the water surrounds that object and creates like a backstop. So what we did was after 12 years, we solved that. And then we didn't
Perfect.
jump up and down and holler and go tell people. We transformed this energy invention 4 different times to where it is today. And today, again, and then I went out on the internet and tried to start talking about why I was naive. And people just skepticism ignored and everything else. I was invited to the United Nations. I gave a small talk. I was invited to the Department of Energy, and they still were full of skepticism, which I don't blame them. I would be too. So what did I do?
Mhm.
I created a United Nations challenge. And that United Nations challenge,
Great.
99% of the scientists think is impossible, but we stand behind it. We know we can generate enough energy to power 15,000 Earths. And we also know that we can do it for 5% of the cost of wind and solar. We have a prototype. We have all the 3D drawings. We have all the engineering. It's been sent to the United Nations, which is being dispersed to the different member countries of the United Nations. We're willing to go in front of the United Nations and show. And if we can't prove it, go home. We'll go home. So we're willing to put our whole company at risk if we cannot do this. And so far, I haven't heard anything from any country. Just the country of India, part of the challenge says I can generate 10,000 times the amount of energy in India, within India, for 5% of the cost of wind and solar. Mr. Modi has embraced solar. Well, what I'm trying to, and by the way, the distribution capabilities can go anywhere. And, you know, India has 4 times the amount of people that United States has, and it generates 1/3 the amount of electricity United States does. I could help India change all that. If India would stand up and be a partner, the central government, then we can go to the United Nations and I can show it in front of the world. And by the way, there's many other parts of the challenge. I also state within that challenge, which will mind boggle you guys, that I can power 90% of the planet without any human intervention and without consuming resources for 5% of the cost of wind and solar. This new energy invention is very advanced. I believe it's a century ahead of any technology that exists today. And I'm out here and I'm in front of the United Nations, and all I need is the leaders of the world to step up. And this isn't for me. What my motivation is for my grandchildren, for your children, and for other people's children here. I don't care to be rich. I'm 65, almost 66 years old, and I have. What would I do with $1 billion? I guess I'd live in a mansion with guards out front. That's not who I am. I'm a regular person that has been devoted for the last 15 years to change the world and create a sustainable planet for my grandchildren, which means for your grandchildren. And
excellent.
The only thing that's holding me up right now is the leaders of the world to step up. And you know, I'm out here in front. I put the challenge out. We're willing to stand behind it. So it does not make any sense whatsoever why they're not stepping up here. Either it's greed, or it's afraid of change, or something's wrong, because the challenge out there, Secretary General asked me to send it to the United Nations, and there's no hold up on our end. We could be there tomorrow if the United Nations stepped up to that challenge. And we're ready. We have all the materials, all the engineering, all the 3D drawing, the prototype. We can take it all there. And this is not some desk-type prototype theory. This is a prototype that is exact replica of what the new energy invention will be once installed. It's about the size of a pickup truck, and it shows everything. The 3D drawing, one of them, is like a Disney movie. It shows the new energy invention in operation. We also have 3D printed material that's part of the prototype to show that we're not some backdoor garage company talking this. So we're just waiting. I'm in wait mode, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's what I'm doing. And
I mean, you have been there, done that, and now you're back into your innovation activity with your folks around for the last 12 years. You've been doing fantastic work, and now finally you've got the secret juice in your hand, which can cure the energy problem of the world. That's super fantastic. In fact, honestly, my personal experience listening to you right now gave me goosebumps. And I am not kidding. I mean, the passion, guys, people whoever are watching us, see the passion in John. I mean, if you go out with that passion to pitch your idea to anybody, I'm 110% sure people are going to write $1 million check to you right away. And here we are with John, who's working fantastic on the energy side of things. And now,
can I say a couple more words? I have 50 emails from venture capital groups, from people like Prince of Dubai, Prince of Saudi Arabia, and leader, you know, money people around the world wanting to fund this already. I've turned down billions of dollars. Because what I want is for the benefits of this to go and help poor people and middle class around the world. Money has never been the issue. The issue is patent protection so that we can collect these royalties and help poor countries like India, which is not really, they're a very intelligent company, but they have a great deal of poor population along with a wealthy population. But we want to lift everybody up.